And welcome back to White Claw Wednesday. This is episode 106.
106, brother.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, we're back in the Skype zone because I'm just giving Ryan his full 14-day quarantine window.
Full
to get,
recovery
fully
window.
Better.
Full recovery. It's 10 days now, but appreciate it.
Oh, it's 10 days now?
It's
Oh,
the
shit.
guideline
Okay.
now.
See, that's how much I've been paying attention. So, how you doing right now? You back to 100%, you think? Or
I
what?
feel great. I mean, Amanda says that I still sound nasally, but I feel
Yeah.
fantastic. And I felt
You
good.
do sound a little bit nasally still.
Okay. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
am a little bit congested, just barely.
Mm-hmm.
But I've felt 100% for a while now, almost a week. I've been working out, I feel great, honestly. It's just a little bit of lingering symptoms. Cheers up, brother.
Cheers. Whoa,
I won't be cracking that
sprayed
one
it.
again, but
Not cracking today? Okay.
not cracking today,
See, that's how I know
If
you're
I
not
am-
100%.
Well,
That's
if
how
I
know you're
am
not
fighting
100%.
it off still, then I want to,
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
Did
Yeah.
you know that you can actually still have symptoms and not be super, contagious?
Yeah, I have heard that, yeah.
I was doing some reading, and not that I'm an expert or that I did a ton of research on it, but I guess that you're the most contagious before you even have symptoms, because that's when the virus is just wrecking havoc.
It just got in you.
Well, it not that it just got in you, but it's multiplied so much, and your body hasn't recognized it yet.
It has to multiply first before you get the symptoms. Is that what you're saying?
Well, your body has to start fighting it off, right? Because that's what
Okay.
the symptoms are. Is like your body trying to get rid of it.
See, that's how much I know, is that I didn't even realize that, your symptoms of your cold or whatever sickness you have is your body fighting it.
What are you talking about?
But I
We've
guess-
talked about this before.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
It's like your fever is literally
Yeah.
your body heating itself up to try and kill the virus, to try and make it uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's the same as sweating to when you're exercising. Because your body is cooling itself.
Trying to
off.
cool itself off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
fair enough.
it's the same idea. Interesting. Well,
You know what I don't know
doesn't
though?
surprise me.
I don't know why, when you have a fever, you feel freaking cold. Like it doesn't
Or
make
freaking
sense.
Or both. It's kind of like it's
It's-
weird. You get both. You get like
It's like your body doesn't
You're s-
realize what's happening. I don't know how to explain it.
you're super cold, and then you get all wrapped up, and then you start sweating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're still cold.
But you're still cold. Yeah.
But you're also.
It's like your body
yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't realize what's happening, or it's like mitigating those receptors
Yeah.
because it knows what the heck it's doing, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to feel hot. Testing, we good?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna heat up the body and hope that it
What were you doing?
works. Yeah, we're back. I was just filibustering. What's funny? I actually wasn't doing a good job of filibustering. I completely started speaking. I was just like, this is what I did. You froze, and I was just like, yeah. So the body heating up, it heats up, and what? Did you stop your audio recording? Okay, it's all good. I'm still doing most of the talking, so.
My
Yeah,
audio
so for
cut
those
out, but
listening
it's
right
back.
now or watching Ryan's
It's back.
audio
It's
cut
back.
out,
It's back.
so
Okay, we're good. We're good.
mine-
Apologies,
mine
everybody,
is still
for
rolling,
the
and now
short
he's
break.
back. Yeah.
What I was saying was, could you imagine being one of those senators, or I don't know, the people that actually do the filibustering, like to do it for 6 hours, or I wonder what I'm gonna look it up right now. I wonder what the longest filibuster is in like General Assembly or whatever you would call
the longest filibuster
United
is.
States parliamentary procedure. Longest filibuster.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's 8+ hours. If I taking a window guess, opening the window that says it's about 8 to 12 hours. That's the range I'm giving myself. I bet it's
Okay.
somewhere in that.
The record for the
Hour
longest
of
filibuster goes to the U.S.
filibuster
Senator
ever.
Strom Thurmond of South Carolina, who spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Wow, there's a lot of hatred in this guy. Oh my God. Imagine being that big of a douchebag. It's like the Civil Rights Act, you know, and you're filibustering for 24 hours. Like, God, you live a sad life, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the like, you know, other words
100%,
like racist and bigot, stuff like that also.
Yeah.
Like how big of a that you have to be to go for 24 hours. It's but I think that's sort of the that makes sense to me that's
24 hours
where the United States record is for that, because it's the idea of filibustering seems
well,
like
and it's like
a person
so stupid about
killing
it
time
you don't
on something
even
they know
have
they're not
to
right on.
talk about what the bill is about. It's like you could just talk about, you know, barbecuing or gardening.
Yeah,
or,
you don't like
whatever. You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah,
it's exactly. It's like, how long can you think of new things to talk about?
Just how long
Actually,
can you
don't
talk?
even need to think of new things. You can just keep saying the same thing repetitive. But then that goes to your point. How long can you talk? You know.
Yeah. Have you ever tried saying random words that have no connection and make no sense?
No.
And you try to speak as fast as you can and just
pretty
random
niche.
Things. I used to do this a lot when
hobby
I was younger. I know it's a very, very. it's a niche game.
Like that would come in your mind.
I don't know. I always came back to Del Taco.
Oh.
I just I like that would come out of my mouth. Like
wow.
Del Taco and cat. Those were the main two things that would come out of my mouth. But I think that's because,
and
you know,
those
my
epic
deep
burritos or what?
My one and only pet growing up, Star the cat, you know. And then also the epic burritos and just the chicken soft tacos and the many Del Taco runs late night, during the day, morning, all you name it. I just you know, it comes you try to say random words in the game that I invented, but you just end up saying the words.
Like Del Taco was, I mean, it was so close to us that it was.
Oh, me too, man.
Yeah.
And there were so many different.
Literally,
there were a bunch.
The two that
there's
are
a bunch in Riverside. There's just a lot of Del Taco.
Really close together are right by us. Yeah. Exactly.
They're right by each other.
Strangely enough, works because they're both
right
always
by us, also
popping.
right by each
the
other.
freeway. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a freeway separating.
It's less than a mile.
Yeah. It's funny. Like one's on this side of the freeway, the other one's on this side of the freeway.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
so I think that's why my family went there.
It was just always a good option because it was always open.
Especially man, I feel bad for my parents. Like, I can't even imagine. I barely feed myself twice a day now, and that's only because I'm so lazy, you know. Like, I'm like, I don't have too much to eat, you know. Like, I don't want to cook a whole meal right now, so I'll eat twice a day. But they had to, you know, like I was running and playing soccer, like I was burning so many calories. So when they were like, "Oh no, you need to eat before a game," I was like, "Nah, it's all good. Like, don't even worry about it." And they would run through Del Taco, and I'd get like a steak and egg burrito. I just, you know, I don't know why that pops in my head, but I'm so thankful for it now. Yeah, before a soccer game. Well, yeah, and then we would be driving for, you know, I don't
before
know, 30
soccer
minutes,
games?
40 minutes to.
Yeah.
No, this was more club time, but yeah, I mean,
to the ASO Fields.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
More club time. But did you had time?
Yeah,
spent
where
at
the
ASO
heck
Fields,
is that?
Though?
You know,
because that was like
don't
a 20.
know
That was
where
like
that
a 20
is.
minute.
Like, bro, what part of Riverside is that? Because
I always felt like we were going to like
attention.
a mystery
I just remember that one road you come in and you take a left,
there.
and then it's like you're at the ASO Fields.
So,
I'm
pretty sure it's the exit on the freeway. So you get on the 91, going towards San Bernardino, not Corona, and so and
like
you're going that
what
way.
Exit though?
And,
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that 90. I'm not even gonna. Okay, I'm just gonna continue. I'm
definitely east.
91
if
west.
You're going
91
towards
west.
San
I think
Bernardino.
it's 91 west. Yeah, 91 west. And
west is
it's
Corona,
much,
dude. West is Corona's like Corona's close to the
see,
beach.
This is why. West is Corona. See, and
Dude,
see, that's
me and
why
you
I
are
didn't
the
even want to
same
say the
because
directions because I
I'm
knew I was
terrible
going to
with
get it wrong.
directions,
And
but
just,
I
like,
do know
put
that.
myself on blast as an idiot. I'm so bad. But you know that exit
Yeah.
where it turns into the 60. The 91 turns
Yes.
into the 60 before you get to San Bernardino. And it's that big old curve,
It's the
that big
worst,
old roundabout.
the worst
And
freeway
it's hard
entrance
it's
ever.
hard, that
People
merge is
slow
kind
down
of
to, like,
hard because you got
25,
people
and I
changing
don't
from
blame
one
them.
freeway and you're getting on that so
There's another exit.
so right before that exit
Yeah, see, like, I'm never
pretty
over
sure is
there,
the exit
ever.
is the exit you get off to get to the ASO Fields. Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those trips you made as a kid where it was just always kind of like, man, this
Yes.
is like all I
Yes.
know. This area is soccer. Like when I
Yep,
think of like this,
exactly.
it's just like soccer. Like I know
Those
nothing
were
else
big
about
fields.
this zone.
And you
except
know
this
what?
is
They
where
had a
the ASO Fields
distinct
are. And those fields were huge.
parking lot. I just remember, I've never, but it was like dirt, but it was like sand. It was so
the
fine.
dirt parking
and
lot.
I don't know why it's stuck in my mind. I've never seen a parking lot like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
They did.
Man, would they squeeze cars in there?
Just logs, yeah.
And they used the wooden logs, the big old tree trunks, to just
man.
be like,
good
okay,
times
this
at
is
that
as far
field.
as your car
Good
can go.
times.
Like this is where you're stopping here.
Hey, you know what? What I've been doing this week? You'll never guess.
Yeah.
You'll just Well, I did that one time, but that's true. That's true.
What? Oh, playing
Yeah.
Minecraft with Sam.
I've been rewatching Harry
okay.
Potter.
Something else?
Yeah.
What?
They are amazing. Honestly, they're so good.
Heck yeah, dude! Aren't they still so good? Yeah, right. Like,
did you? I didn't know that.
I watched them. I watched all 8 over pandemic 2020, and yeah, I went for a nice run during the summer there, and
Timeless.
Man, I gotta say, it was timeless. It
Mhm.
really it made me feel young, as dumb as that is to say, but it really made me feel like a kid again watching those
Mhm.
movies. Just because we grew up on them, they were coming out when we were kids, so. Man, it's like that. They hold up, and that's what you want for movies that mean a lot in your childhood. Is you
Mhm.
watch them again as
Yeah,
an adult,
and
you're
it's
like, man,
just
this is,
you relate
I
to them
remember why I
so
love
much.
this,
Even now, it's just they're so good. So I started watching the second Fantastic Beasts movie. Realize,
Mhm.
yeah. Go ahead.
Wait,
Not
hold on.
yet. So,
Wait,
so,
pause.
this is the order I've.
Did you
been
watch
going
all 8
in.
Harry Potter films?
I started watching
Okay.
the second one. This was actually when I was still like really sick, so I was
Okay.
in the room not doing anything. No, the second Fantastic Beasts ones. The newest,
Okay.
the newest.
So you started watching Chamber of
I
Secrets?
started there. Crimes of Grindelwald. There you
okay.
go.
You started.
So-
okay. You started at.
I started there,
at
and I
Crimes
had
of
watched the
Grindelwald.
first one, but I
Yes,
didn't
okay.
remember the first one. I was like, I'm gonna give the second one a shot, see if I catch on. 30 minutes in, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. so I rewatched the entire first Fantastic Beasts, which is a good movie. Yeah, I have some questions on the consistency between the two series, but we can get into that.
So I haven't. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd have a hard time getting into that on a detail level.
For
Because
what reason?
I actually have boycotted the Fantastic Beasts series. I remember after seeing the
Part
8th
two.
one in
Sure.
theaters for I think it was the second time, Deathly Hallows Part 2 back in 2011. Yeah, and I'm driving home with Jake, your old neighbor, and I think it's his grandma who's driving us home from the movies, and she's like, "Oh, so like this is the
That's
last
it.
one, huh? Like this is it for the Harry Potter movies. They're done." And I'm like, "Yep, end of the story. No more movies." And then I remember her saying,
yeah.
specifically, like, "Oh, well, I guarantee they'll bring it back in some sort of way. It just makes too much money." And I remember having that thought. This was before I was like that into like the whole business money side of movies, so I didn't really understand like profitabilities of sequels and franchises. So she says that to me, and I'm just
stand
like,
your ground.
That's not going to happen. And if it does, I don't care. That's what I said Yeah, I'm gonna stand my ground. And I still feel the same way. And it's because you think of big
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
IPs, intellectual properties like
Sure.
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Trek, whatever you want to say. But the one thing that they don't have in common with Harry Potter is that Harry
True.
Potter was spawned on the story of one person. So you have these other stories that are just kind of more world built. Like they're just like, it's like the world of Star Wars, like the world of Star Trek. Like it just, it feels like it makes more sense to me to continue to tell new stories in said worlds when the worlds were established as like, there's all these characters we should care about. Like, sure, like we were following along with Luke Skywalker in the beginning of Star Wars, but there were all these other characters and, alien species and planets and and it was called Star Wars. It wasn't called Luke Skywalker. But then you have a series, you have something called Harry Potter, and you go on a whole journey with this one character, and that journey is wrapped up in like the best way you could imagine, and it's just like I can't find myself wanting to revisit that.
I get what you're saying,
but that's the thing. I do want to revisit that, but I want to revisit it with Harry. Like I want to be with Harry Potter.
It's definitely one of the biggest
who keeps creatures in his
IPs,
trunk,
as
like,
you called him, that is focused on a single person, or at least the story is heavily revolving around that person. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I think that's what makes it so special. And I hate that J.K. Rowling is a total, bad person, I guess, but because they're just great stories,
sucks that she's,
like that's just such a great story.
It's just a bummer when people, they are. They are.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer that she she has so much money.
And aren't you kind of in Hollywood?
You just wish like you could just
I get it. You're like
quiet?
in London, but like, aren't you like sort of involved in that realm? I feel like Hollywood tends to be pretty progressive.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And she was involved with the scripts of both. I think both Fantastic Beasts movies. Like I'm pretty sure she's a credited screenwriter on one, if not both of them. So she's now gotten more like hands on with the whole Hollywood scene, because I'm pretty sure all the Harry Potter. Well, I'm like 99% sure she didn't write any of the Harry Potter movie adaptations, and I know she didn't direct any of the movies. But maybe she's not going to be back now, because I know they're planning on more Fantastic Beasts movies, and I'm not sure where they stand right now. In terms of
was she part of this last one? Is the question?
Said too many?
Because there's another one coming out in April.
Rude. There's another one exactly. Was she? See, and it feels to me like this whole. Thing she's been doing with saying bad things about the LGBT community. I just think it seems like it's been going on for a while now. Like she's had this reputation as, being very outspoken about like, just like it's just male, female, or whatever whatever the thing she says. It seems like we've had a good couple years of this, and it seems like she's still involved with the Fantastic Beasts.
I honestly
sequel,
don't know
what
what she's been doing.
Maybe
I just remember there was that
she
one.
hasn't done enough. I don't know.
At one point where it like had came to an influx, and all of a sudden, she was getting canceled per se, or at least attempting to get canceled. That's the only time I remember. So I don't know what she's been doing, but I hope she's not blabbering on Twitter or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, I as far as like the differences between the series, it almost
That's a good
because
point.
the Fantastic Beasts ones are supposed to be prequels. Okay, first of all, I watched two of these films. Didn't even realize they were prequels until I looked it up after. That's how much more like advanced and advanced is not the word. It almost seems as if when you're in Harry Potter and you're at Hogwarts, you're going back in time. Like it's very medieval. It's a very medieval vibe. I mean, the only car you ever see is Ron Weasley's car, the Weasley family's car, and it's like it's an old car, right?
Yes.
But in the Fantastic Beasts films, it's like they're in New York, they're in London, they're in Paris, and they're in the city vibe. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the settings of the two series don't make it seem as if one is a prequel to the others.
Yeah, and that's because of the whole way? We got to make this a franchise. In that they're sitting around coming to the same conclusion that I came to, in that we have a whole world here, but it's called Harry Potter. How do we turn that into Star Wars? Is what they're thinking. Oh, well, we do that by making the new prequel series a city globe-trotting adventure where you're going from all those places you're listing, and you're seeing all these different ways the wizarding world interacts with the real world and a greater detail, and all these so they're trying to go from single character
global,
God's eye on Harry Potter to just going omniscient and just seeing the whole thing. And that's where it gets kind of like I don't know, because the magic of Harry Potter was that it's Harry Potter
mostly,
and it's this contained world. It's Hogwarts, and that's pretty much it. And you don't really question things.
It's so narrowed.
You don't really question a lot of the details because it's not getting too into the details. And that makes it easier to process. Okay, we have a wizarding world that lives in secret. But then you take Fantastic Beasts, and from what I've seen from just watching like the CinemaSins videos, shouts out, but the vibe I get is that they're trying to build a whole world like Star Wars, like Harry Potter, Star Wars.
Exactly, right there at the end. I mean, raising more questions than it's answering. It's like it almost seems like they're in a more advanced world than they are in the Harry Potter films, which doesn't make sense because it's a prequel, and they're doing magic that they're all wisping like they're all just teleporting using magic now. It's like, where was this in the first? I'm like, what is happening? And I mean, Dumbledore and Harry.
This is what I'm talking about.
I'm doing the full rewatch right now. Dumbledore and Harry do this sort of whispering teleport thing, but it doesn't happen until the 6th movie, and it's like it's a big deal. Like Harry feels sick after it's like whatever.
Oh yeah.
But no, they just are whispering around the city, just having these fights where they're teleporting using magic. So it's like you're really gonna not have that in the other movies, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's I totally agree with you, and I just looked up J.K. Rowling. She wrote the first two. She wrote Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald sequel, and she's the solo credited writer for those first two movies. And then this third one that's coming out in April, The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Writing partner. Oh, I see.
She had a writing partner for that one. Yeah. So, actually, now that I'm looking, okay, this is interesting because I'm seeing she's got a based on the Wikipedia page. It says based on, and it says it's based on a screenplay by J.K. Rowling. But then it says the screenplay is by J.K. Rowling and this dude named Steve Kloves. So it seems like they read her screenplay and said, we need to have another writer work on this. Yeah, we need to have another writer work on this. So she got like a based on her original screenplay, and then they wrote a new one with this other guy, which I wonder if that has to do with the whole, her
who knows
making a fool of herself on Twitter. And, I don't know, maybe. If she's, if she's trying to sneak in some of her opinions that she tries to rant about on Twitter, she's trying to sneak them in like a sneaky fashion, a hidden meaning theme, like, look beneath, like,
well,
outside
to be fair, she's
and then the studio's
very good at hiding it in her writing, I mean, no one would have known. Yeah, like
yeah, she is. Exactly. And that's what was such a
Mhm.
bummer to when all this stuff when she started speaking these opinions was that you're like, wow, it's kind of like, wow, the person
Mhm.
who invented this whole
Moral
cool
compass.
fantasy magic world has no actual moral compass and doesn't actually
Yeah.
believe that you should, express yourself. It's like, because it's like, what, I feel like the whole wand, the magic thing it's
Right.
it's sort of like it's being yourself. It's being out there. It's like it felt like a theme of that series was
Mhm.
the wizards are different than the muggles and the muggles are
Well, it's
different than the
very
wizards, but we can, sing kumbaya.
right.
And then
Right. It's
and then she's out here trying to,
it's
draw
very
lines in
much
the
like
sand
that.
between
It's and it's weird
what
that
people want to do with,
that she
with their
has those ideas, and yet a lot of what Harry Potter, the like world of magic in the Harry Potter films is like, we need to protect the Muggles, that type of thing. It's like, we need to stay hidden and like just stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I'm surprised, man. I'm surprised. And there's a lot of like animal, like, hey, take care of your animals, that type of vibe in Harry Potter too. The only thing that I've gotten where I was like, this
Yeah.
kind of doesn't make
Mhm.
sense
Very
is
true.
the whole goblin thing, or not the goblins, the house elves. Like, they're basically slaves. So that's kind of
The house elf.
that's
Yeah.
the only
You mean
thing.
Dobby the house elf?
But it's a
Yes.
fantasy
Yes.
world. They're
Yes. Very true.
elves. They're not real. I don't know. So I don't want to nitpick it too much, but it's a little weird.
Yeah. That's the.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's something like
And that's
that in
the other
Star
thing.
Wars
It's
too.
like,
It's like
you can say some.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but this is what I like. You can like when you're working with fiction and people are creating fiction.
right.
People are
right.
gonna take your
Right.
fiction and they're gonna say this represents that. This represents that. This is that. And it's like, as the person who created it,
Mhm.
whether or not you meant it to represent that, you
It's
might
perceived
not
that
have
way,
meant
yeah.
it to represent that. And then it just happens to be that. And that's what I think is so funny about,
Yeah. Well,
just the way we are offended by things now in society.
mhm.
And we try to cancel things that are
Mhm.
old and have
Well,
already been around
you know what
for a
I
while
find?
by
Go ahead.
like saying, oh, it means this, And it's like, you heard about the whole
No, I did
the baby it's
not.
cold outside being like a sexual assault song.
Yes, absolutely.
You haven't
100%.
you do you know that Christmas song, the one that Elf sings
No.
that she sings in the shower and yeah. Well, you didn't read about this? Damn, dude, yeah, a couple years ago or a year ago or so recently they tried to cancel the song because someone broke down the lyrics and said, "Oh, this is about a man forcing a woman to commit sex with him, like he's
Uh-huh.
committing sexual assault on her." That's what the person said. Like, I don't know who started this whole trend, but the baby it's cold outside has now become a secret hidden meaning of
Yeah.
sexual
I'm
assault.
so
and
surprised,
I'm
man.
not
That's
here
crazy.
to
I never
be
heard
on
that.
one side or the other. I'm just saying that it's hard to
Yeah.
know the truth in that side. Like, which
Yeah.
side are you on? Like, what's the truth? Like, what is it?
Even that doesn't work
Until
'cause
you can like
GIF,
ask
GIF
the
and
person
GIF,
who wrote
man.
the song.
GIF and GIF. This
But
is the
even
classic.
then, someone
The
could,
classic.
even then, because they could lie
Classic
to you.
example.
Exactly, GIF and GIF. The person could be, the author could be dead, or the author could lie to you,
Yeah.
or the author could have forgot what the inspiration was in the first
Yeah,
place.
I
Like,
watched
don't
that
know,
too.
but it's just
Yeah.
funny the way things are interpreted. And have you heard of this movie Don't Look Up on Netflix?
It.
Did you
no,
watch
they're
it?
not.
People
For what?
are doing
For what?
the same
For
thing.
what?
Like no, they are. I swear to God. I swear. There's this
Mhm.
Snapchat story that I sometimes watch. Like, it's like one of those
Keep
Snapchat
It.
article things, and it's called Keep It.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. It's basically a podcast, and the podcast, the idea, the theme of it, Keep It, is like they're saying shit that
Mhm.
is in the they're taking popular culture. They're
Okay.
picking
So
things
how
of
did they do
popular
that with-
culture, and they're basically saying, "Nah, I'm good." Like they said this is what there was like. They're like, I'm so tired of the cis straight white male preaching about climate change.
Oh my god, that's so idiotic. I'm sorry.
I just thought that statement was funny because because I watched Don't Look Up, and it's directed by Adam McKay and written by him. And if you don't know, that's the same dude who did The Other Guys and Step Brothers and Anchorman and all those great comedies. And he switched over more and like he's kind of turned his whole comedy
the whole movie
style into like a comedy about
joke
real life
on our actual reality. It's just emboldened. It's expressed, you know. But it's a joke on us, on everyone, and how we deal with each other.
Yeah, and I know, but it is, and it's funny.
Yeah,
but people take it as like
people like that.
They don't take it as a joke.
A little ridiculous.
and I think that if you were to, you don't even need to watch this movie with the thought of
you
has
don't.
A deeper
it could
meaning.
just be a comedy, no meaning at all.
Like you don't.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and that's really what I tried to do because I had already heard these opinions before watching the movie.
Yeah,
I had already seen like, this it pushes that, preaches this, not that good, too long, over the top, I'm just reading these negative things about it.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
exactly.
okay, this is the dude who directed Step Brothers. Okay, got it. Let's watch this movie, and I love it because you keep that in mind,
the fact
and then
that
you
people
understand.
are
Okay, this is a movie that's meant to make me laugh. Okay.
It's almost exactly what the movie is making fun of, right? It's like it's making fun of us and how we communicate and
exactly. It is
how
it's beautiful.
If there was truly something that was just going to kill us and catastrophic, we would not figure it out. We would
catastrophic. Yeah.
We would basically not believe the person. There would be conspiracy theories. Yeah. I mean,
and
I don't
that,
want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but
yeah.
It is so accurate.
I love it so much.
I mean, obviously, it is a hint to
I think
climate
it's so
change,
accurate.
But the only difference is that in the case of Don't Look Up, it's literally a catastrophic event. Yeah, exactly. It's like not, something that's going to happen over time.
An asteroid coming to kill them.
But, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between that and climate change, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, it was like I was also seeing parallels. Between,
for sure. I mean, the whole
not only climate change but with COVID.
They want to control us, that type of thing. They want to force you to do this. Like, it's a It was a comedy based on honestly like all the terrible things about society and media and all these things. It's like in politics and it's everything, man, because even like the White House and the president and the chief of staff, I thought Jonah Hill did a fantastic job. So funny. I want to just say a prayer
so funny.
about stuff. I like stuff.
I love
it.
What the hell? That's
yeah, she's going.
Yeah. And then I love when he's like,
yeah. I
she's
thought the
back.
ending was kind of stupid, but whatever.
She's coming back.
Comedy. Yeah, they're in like cryo sleep for thousands of years.
Wait, the ending with them like being asleep for thousands of years
in the Goldilocks sector, which is somewhat scientifically accurate.
I thought that was so funny, dude.
One of them dies. I love how they're all naked too. Like none of them brought clothes in the cryo chamber or something.
Yeah, they're all.
Sorry, we're totally spoiling it, but whatever.
I like to think that their clothes.
Oh,
yeah, no, we're spoiling it, but I like
probably.
to think that the clothes disintegrated. Like what do we know about cryo technology? Because like
really?
the year that they said passed, like it was like 200,000 years later. Like it was like it was a high number that they said like passed. So I'm imagining like I feel like after that amount of time, your clothes would disintegrate.
You know what's so stupid about that?
In a cryo chamber or basically
the fact
in any
that they
setting,
could accomplish that. Like they could accomplish getting humans to a planet that's I don't know where it's at, somewhere in our galaxy somewhere, but they couldn't figure out how to blow
light
up
years away.
an asteroid. You know, like
Yeah.
I think it's part of.
Asteroid. Yeah, no, I did think
It's
that
a
was
comedy.
funny.
Yeah, don't think about it.
But
too
again,
much,
that was
yeah.
that was just part in the line of like, okay, this is a comedy.
Right.
So we're not going for the logical joke. We're going for the funniest joke, which was I love the payoff
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the whole tech guy.
Yeah.
You know, the main tech guy, the dude with the white hair, telling Meryl Streep, like who's playing the president. Oh, our software is so advanced that we can predict how you'll die.
Right.
And then he says you're gonna die by, and then he like names some creature you've never heard
Gets
of.
eaten.
And then you get to the ending, and she's like, "Oh, pretty, look, creatures!" And she runs up, and she gets eaten by the creature. And then he's immediately like, "Oh, that must be a blank," or it was Brontosaurus or something like that.
Interestingly enough,
and then you just see them start swarming.
The algorithm
naked
didn't
people.
predict, and this is definitely on purpose by the writers, but the algorithm didn't predict DiCaprio's character's death correctly, because he said to DiCaprio, "Oh, you're gonna die alone," but he doesn't. So.
Oh, you die alone.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
I
don't know.
Yeah. He doesn't die alone.
Not
That's
sure how
true.
we got from Harry Potter to
That's
Don't
true.
Look Up, but hey, that's just how it goes, man. All right, brother.
It's just how
you want to call this one? Okay.
Oh, want to wrap her up there? Yeah, let's do it. All right, episode 106.
Love you guys.
Coming to a close.
Peace.
Thanks for listening, liking, subscribing, all that. We love y'all. Peace. See you on the next one.